Good afternoon and hello world. I'm Miyah, and I would like to welcome you to the latest episode of my vlog series. So far, I have been able to share my own experiences on what it's like to live with ASD or Aspergers syndrome. A second thing that I will do is cover my 2 cents on what's going on with autism in the media. A third area entails providing tips and advice to others on the spectrum, as well as friends, family members, peers, mentors, educators, employers, and anybody in the autism community. I also like to, on occasion, share things that I'm passionate about. But before I dive into the main topic, what I would like to do is mention that I have a few announcements. So, number 1, please be sure to check out this video by Carly Fleischman. It's called Carly's Cafe, and it's all about her experiences of living with autism. Or rather, it is a replica, so please be sure to check that out. A second thing that I would like you guys to do is be sure to check out my written blogs on Wordpress.com. Now, I need to be more active in those blogs than I have been, but these are scholarly and practical application type blogs. And the reason why I like those to be scholarly is because I'm going to school to become a researcher in the autism community, and I'm a psychology major. So, what I like to do is do topics that I think would be critical to the research world and for anybody in the community that likes to read. And I also would like to mention that we have an Autism Conference coming up May 3rd and 4th, downtown Atlanta. This is the Autism Conference and Exposition of Georgia. Unfortunately, the early bird registration rate just ended. But we have lots and lots of financial assistance for those that are on the spectrum, as well as family members. And we are looking for volunteers that are on the spectrum for our ACE Ambassador program. So please be sure to check those out. And anyway, what I would like to do is not really go into my main focuses. What I'm going to do is give my 2 cents on autism in reality and autism in the community, because I think this is really important. So, first and foremost, you guys know and hear all these great stories about how all of these great employers across the board, like Google or Silicon Valley or NASA, Disney and Pixar, all of these great places have programs for people with autism. And they're not necessarily being kept down. They are doing things like animation, or they're doing things like programming computers, or they're engineers. And I wanted to mention that there's still a great need of people that have those skills that are going through these employment support programs that are not part of Google. They work with anybody with a disability, or rather it's a one-size-fits-all program. And what they're doing is they're sending them to these low-end positions, like bagging groceries, or cleaning floors, or they're just hanging clothes at a department store. And this is rather than taking a look at their special talents and really listening to what they want to do, but rather that they're just placing them into a position and just patting themselves on the back. Well, I think it's great that they're getting them out into the community, and that's probably helpful for some of them that have never worked before because they need to gain the work skills. However, you're finding a 30-year-old man or year-old woman on the spectrum that has skills in things like programming computers, or they have skills in software engineering, or they can go and work on cars. And here they're bagging groceries and being kept down, and they're being bored while these agencies beat around the bush, and they refuse to help them find another job, and they're supposed to have all these great connections. Another side to a lot of these positions is that a lot of these employers are not trained to work with people with autism, and they're not properly educated. Rather, they're just bullying them and picking on them, and these agencies aren't doing a thing they just beat around the bush, or rather twiddle their thumbs, while the individual feels miserable, and the individual finally breaks down and snaps. And suddenly, the person with autism is seen as the bad guy while the bullies get away with it. And that is no environment, or like a grocery store, that's no place with somebody that has a brain that thinks differently than other people. I'm sorry. I mean, I will never emphasize enough how many times I've seen people with autism that are mild. They should be working on their degrees, and they should be working with people that are trained to work with individuals with autism, that aren't going to condescend on them and that aren't going to patronize on them, but rather they're going to mentor them. Yes, they may have tempers and they may have issues with social skills, but put them in jobs where they can feel useful, and they aren't going to feel like their brains are turned to mush, and they aren't going to feel like they're being treated like a lesser or a half of a person. So, anyway, I'm out of time for today. If you like what I am doing, give me a thumbs up, and please be sure to subscribe. And share this among your social media sources, and as well as your support groups, as well as those employment agencies that put these individuals into places like that. Until next time, I'm Miyah Sundermeyer, and I'm signing off. And do not forget to comment. And again, be sure to check out my social media sites. I'm Miyah Sundermeyer, and I'm signing off.